Hey, welcome in. We're doing this Gothic style Tudor home. Gives Skyrim fills, if you will. This picture that I'm going off of is created using AI and digital editing. It's called The Witch's Rest, Mosslight Mistwood Refuge. And hopefully that's okay to say. I don't want to copyright anything. I'm not great with that stuff. But when I saw this picture, I just was like, Skyrim. I love Skyrim. I have it. I haven't played it in many years, but it was my go-to game for a very long time. And so when I saw this, I just had to build it. Have you ever just seen a picture and said, yes, yes, now, please, right now? That was this house. This build altogether took me about 8 to 9 hours, I think. So it's a little bit of a long video, but hopefully we're good with that because I love this house. I thought about doing it in two parts, giving you just the outside and all the exterior, and then going in and decorating it. And we'll see. Maybe this is what this turns out to be. But this sped up version is 2 hours of footage. So it is quite fast. It's just going to be going quickly, and we're just going to have fun and talk about this beautiful house and whatever fills my mind in this time that we should talk about. I went very Tudor home because that was the vibes it really just gave off. I wanted it to be this big, glorious household that the picture conveyed, right? We're building at Crow's Perch, which is in Ravenwood, the not so new world anymore that came with the Life and Death expansion pack. Also, have you got the new pack, the hobbies and businesses and hobbies? I have. I haven't experienced it too much just yet. I have been building a little bit, but life is crazy, as always. I mean, if you're not running and stumbling down the road, trying to put your shoes on and get your hair done and take care of the children and feed the masses and what you doing? Because my life is all the time, nonstop, all go, go, go. And I have a gluten allergy and I glutened myself and I have been just struggling over here. So I'm doing what I can, okay? And I think that we can all relate to that. Sometimes just do what you can, you get it done. I really tried to utilize a ton of get together. Obviously has that very Tudor style build to it. And then I added in little things like cottage living. Even the For Rent pack has those beautiful windows that have the metal lattice inside of the windows. It all very much tied in together. So as much as I wanted to stay very cohesive, I wanted tons of variety in the windows. I want them to make sense, but I want variety. I want them to all be a little bit different. It just felt so right. And Get Together obviously has tons of different windows, even base game, that really mesh well together. And I think at this point, the wood tones, while they might not be 100%, I think the wood tones are close enough where it's perfect and it all just makes sense. To bring this cottagey, cabiny style to it, I felt like the wood was really important. All those dark wood swatches, using a cottage living door, it left that fantastical flavor to it. You know what I mean? Get Together has this really cool box window that sticks out a little bit. My biggest pet peeve with it, and you'll see it when we get inside, is that it leaves a wooden frame on the inside without it actually being a window seat look to it. So you have this frame on your wall that doesn't actually show a window. And that's kind of frustrating. You think that it would be an actual window seat that maybe it would bump out and you'd see the window. You don't. So I don't use it often, but when I do, I tend to put a curtain of walls. What? A wall of curtains where it is to kind of take away from that wooden frame that shows through. This build was my side project for a little over a month. I told you that it took 8 to 9 hours to build. And it really was just something that I did when I had a little spare time because I knew it was going to be so extensive and I wanted it to be right. I wanted you to look at it and think of how pretty it is and how fantastical it is. And I wanted to do this picture justice. Then I got to do the fun roof ornaments. I don't always get to use those. They really are like a particular build style, right? But for this house, it was iconic and perfect in every way. So it does take some maneuvering because I have this little L-shaped roof. But I think in the end that we get it worked out. I get it worked out and I like it. It adds that detail, which I feel like Tudor homes have such detail in them. They're so gorgeous, which I feel like Tudor homes and cottage homes have a very detailed look to them. It's in all those details that you find that older beauty. It's not a manufactured home. It's not a copy-pasted house. And obviously, we talked about it being in Crow's Perch. I wanted the backdrop of these trees and the stones and the rock just to continue to add into that fantasy vibe. Getting in here and looking at the layout, which I kind of jumped forward to do the layout because I always feel like a little bit of anxiety. How's this going to look? What's it going to be like? Is it going to make sense? Are the rooms going to be big enough? Are they too small? Layout anxiety is what we're calling it. So I jumped in here pretty quickly to kind of get an idea and get going. Honestly, looking back at it, because like I said, this is from like early February, like before the 25th anniversary. So looking back at this, the layout doesn't change a whole lot, if I'm honest, which is pretty cool, actually. I decided to go ahead and move that staircase back all the way. And then I put a little half bathroom right in front of the staircase, angle that off. And that's the idea right there. That's the layout of the living room, dining area, kitchen. I wanted to really dive into the new kits from the time, right? You have the Bella Goth kit, which is what I'm going to call it, the Bella Goth kit, and obviously using life and death as much as possible to create this very like rich, dark home. I do go ahead and decorate the living room, and then I decided, hey, I should really get back outside and go ahead and finish the landscaping, get everything done out there so I can come inside and just finish everything out. So we are using lots of life and death. I'm just going to create this very rich living room. Talk about using the Bella Goth kit. I created a family that is like a ripoff of the Goth family called the Goth family. And my idea was that they live here and they're very Goth family coded. So because of that, I wanted lots of reds and blacks and deep dark colors, very rich, which was just very kind of fun and silly to do. You might see them from time to time. They live here already. I use them for all the playtesting, and that's their money right there. They get richer as time goes on because I obviously start running out of money. I like this rug. I don't think that I ever use it. It's from Get Famous, and it's like in one of those swatches, right? It's like zebra print or something, and you get into it and it has great swatches in there. And so this was kind of fun and dove into that very gold, red, black, what I was looking for in this home. I love how well Love Struck just goes into all these packs. So that coffee table is the Love Struck coffee table. And I think that it matches Life and Death so very well. And I'm getting that vibe from the Business and Hobbies. It's feeling like they're getting more cohesive with all the packs they do, which I think is just so great. We jumped back really quickly because honestly, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to finish up the outside, get everything laid out, get all my terrain done, all the landscaping. So that way I really had free reign to get inside and finish the house off. And that way, I wanted to do it in 2 parts. It made a little more sense. This house was very much lifted up on a high foundation, and I really wanted not so much a moat, but I wanted it to have some water surrounding it a little bit, just to add this visual interest to the house. It very much looks like it should be on water, even just a little bit. So I wanted to take that free reign and put some water around the foundation and play around with terrain, which is a huge pain. People who are amazing at terrain just know, like, if you've never messed around with terrain, they're good, because it's a struggle doing all the terrain manipulation. If I didn't care so much about the way it looked, I would not have done this. But I really, like, it was for the vibe, it was for the plot, it was for the story that this place needed some water. So I was going to have to get over it and make this terrain manipulation work. And it does. It takes time. Could it be better? For sure. Is it terrible? Nah, it's pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's a lot of back and forth, which I think makes sense. Sometimes you really do have to just play around until you're satisfied with things. And that goes for layout of your house, layout of your windows, the way your roofs look, and terrain paint. Everything. I think that you get to play around and it comes together eventually. And so I suggest, if you're in a hard spot, you're not sure what you're doing, whether it comes to the terrain or comes to the layout, just keep playing, because you can always press undo. So play around, have fun, and until it works for you. Oh, there's the Goth family, by the way. I didn't give them a second child. It's an alternate universe, okay? Just a little bit of fun, just a little bit of interest. And when we start landscaping, it comes and goes. Once again, we talk about playing around with stuff. So the landscaping as well, I just play around until I'm happy with the way it looks. So we're using some very basic trees, things that fit with the world, that take up space and bring more of this woodsy fantasy vibe to the actual lot. I decided to bring out some more terrain manipulation and wrap the water around the house just a little bit more. So that way I didn't feel the need to put a bunch of trees right there. I didn't want the lot and the house feeling blocked by trees. So I definitely wanted to keep the lot open while still having trees in the back of the house. And having more water helped me to do that. Then I got into debug, which, if you don't know how to do debug, you can always look it up, but you're going to do bb.show hidden objects and bb.show live edit objects. And then you're going to go into Discover University and find these great vines that wrap around the building. There are more scattered, but Discover University is my favorite, like, go-to spot, because look how great that looks already. Having these wrap around vines everywhere, just hugging all the corners. Well, not all the corners, but most of the corners. What more says fantasy and cottage, Gothic Tudor home than vines wrapping around your house? It's so beautiful. And so easy to do. You get into debug, you filter by Discover University, you too can have pretty vines wrapping around your home. Then it was time to just kind of add some grass around, a little bit of flowers and bushes, make the water and the landscaping of this house start to pop. I also used the wisteria from Cottage Living, which I think is so pretty. It just adds that visual interest that I was looking for. A little bit of fun, a little bit of whimsy. It made me really happy. And I think that if your build is making you happy, you're doing everything right. I decided to go ahead and play around in debug again, get these rocks, size them down. We're in Cottage Living, by the way. Size them down and bring them into my foundation a little bit. Kind of separates the water from the wall. And I just think it's so cool. It's kind of hard. You kind of have to play around with it a little bit, but you can go down below and bring your rocks up, and it just creates this really great terrain. And it's not something that I do very often. Like I said, I don't always play around with the terrain. I build a house and it stays on flat ground for the most part. But there was just something so cool and so fun about getting to do all this extra stuff, which is why this build took me so very long. I don't always take the time to play around in debug, and there are some cool things in debug, literally houses and buildings. It's so fun. So if you have never played around in debug, I suggest you do it because you just never know what you're going to find. You honestly just don't know. And you pull something tiny out or what you think is going to be tiny, and it's literally a bridge that takes up like half the world. Like, I don't know. It's there, but it's so fun. I wanted to have some sort of fencing to keep the yard and landscaping looking interesting, not bare. And I think having this little almost half fencing around the front just adds a little something extra to the build, because a full fence would have been too much. It would have been too busy. I wanted something in this spot up front, but because my terrain had been manipulated, not just anything was going to work there. So I had to kind of sit with that and decide what I wanted there. And while I did that, I got to come in here and work a little more in the pond, this little like mini moat, half moat, lake around the bend. I don't know. What do you want to call it? What is it? This water feature, if you will. And add in all the things, tadpoles and ducks and fish and fireflies. Oh my. And then it made me decide, why not put a little water on the side over here? Just to add a little extra interest in this corner. Instead of leaving it blank and open, we talk about it being whimsical and fantastical. Well, why wouldn't it have more water features? Why wouldn't there just be like a little mini lake, a little mini pond right there? And I won't bore you with all the details of getting this to a spot where I liked it. It does take time to get it there. Little Simsy says whenever she does a pond, she tries to make it look like a bean, and then it looks very organic. And so I always have kind of kept that in my mind. When doing a little pond, it looks like a bean. And I think that's so iconic. Way to be iconic, little Simsy. Always being iconic. So there's my little bean pond. Kind of looks like a banana bean. It's late, y'all. I just wanted to make sure it was big enough that the ducks could swim in there. But what I came to find out is that the terrain was too high and my ducks were floating. You're gonna be a silly little goose, better go get in the pond. I did try to deepen it a little bit, but the ducks never sat right, so forget the ducks. Who needs the ducks? Not me. They were the bane of my existence in this 20-minute span. So we just left it with the fireflies. We're coming back in and we're adding more rocks because why not? Not a ton, just enough to where it adds to this terrain, kind of brings in the rocks from the other side and balances it out a little more. So what I do is I go down into the basement, page down, and I'm paying attention to my grid line and knowing where I want everything to meet up at, and just moving it up and down and finding that perfect spot for the rocks. And it is trial and error. You kind of just have to move them around and decide if you like it enough to leave it or if you want to continue playing with it. And I think I found a good spot of how I like them. I think they look good and they add that interest that I was looking for. Now, because we are on some terrain manipulation, things want to float. They just do. It's unfortunate. And so this well kind of was floating on the side. And I just took some grass and kind of edged it out, if you will. So that way it looks a little overgrown, but it matches into the world a little bit better. It's not perfect, but I like it. All right, we are jumping back inside. I had already done the living room, so we are back inside and we're going to just go ahead and decorate this house. I was very happy with the way the outside looked. All the terrain was really nice. Landscaping was pretty much done. So it was time to go ahead and get this house looking the way I wanted it to. Now, I will preface, you're going to see clutter. You're going to see a lot of things go into these downstairs room. And then I save. And the game just saves and saves and saves. And after quite a few minutes of it just saving, I close it out. And I have to redo everything in the living room, the kitchen, the dining room, and the bathroom. Let's just say I took a nap after that. When my game just decided, nope, not anymore, not today, it depletes something in you, okay? It's a very frustrating point when you have spent so much time and energy and you're loving everything and feeling so good about it for your game to just go, nah, and you have to start back over. And while it's a little easier because you have already done it before, it's still like it takes that fun out of it for a minute. It's like hitting you over the head. It takes that fun out of it. Well, for me, let's talk about me. It depletes my energy. I just put so much thought into this and now it's gone. And now I have to redo it. And so I'm not trying to like complain or fuss or whine, but I definitely had to step away for a moment and get my energy back up to come in here and deal with it and redo everything. And don't get me wrong, I love The Sims. I love building, but this was a big house, okay? And as I said, this was a side project. I was still doing other builds in the meantime, still working every single day, raising children, caring for my elderly parents. And so I don't have time like that. You know what I mean? To have to redo things when I have 2 floors above this one that needs to, like, all that time and energy for redoing this one could have gone to the upstairs. But it's okay. I'm done complaining. It's just a minor complaint. It happens. And I know it happens to the best of us, right? It's happened to you. I know it has. And if it hasn't happened to you, count your blessings because it happens. So we are using life and death in here. We're using that really pretty marble table. I know it's hit or miss for some people, but I like it. I think it's a fun table. And once again, we're going very like regal and dark with potentially this modern feel to it at some points. I knew immediately I wanted to put this life and death hutch behind the table. I did it in the build a couple months ago, and I thought it was just a really cool touch. This very long room that you'd kind of have this hutch at the end of it as a centerpiece, a focal point. I like getting to clutter it up too, putting the wine bottles and these glass jars, kind of making it look like a bar back without it actually being a bar back. Y'all, this is Bailey. This is my niece. My sister is with my aunt at the hospital right now. So I have this little 3-pound chihuahua. She is super sweet and super sleepy, so I'm going to let her lay back down. But I just had to show her off for a moment. I have a little poof on my desk and a blanket, and she's all snuggled up, just snug as a bug in a rug. For the kitchen, we are doing life and death. Go figure. I wanted this kitchen to feel big and rich. You know what I mean? So we have this built-in fridge area, which I thought was really cool that you have this like pantry space wrapped around. And I kind of do this trick where I've overlapped 2 of the tall cabinets. And I just think it's so fun. It's very built in, feels very custom. And you know, what more do you want than that? This is the point where my game closed down on me. I went ahead and jumped in here and just handled business and got everything the way I had it before and went a little further. So the downstairs is complete. We are just adding a little bit to the patio, this little wraparound porch, adding tables and chairs and benches. Not a whole lot, not cluttering it up too much, but just enough, you know? Now we're on the 3rd floor. I skipped the 2nd floor because I wasn't 1,000% sure the direction I wanted to go on the 2nd floor, but I knew that this floor was dedicated to the parents. We're going to have an office space up here, a beautiful bathroom, and the bedroom as well. Now, earlier I had mentioned that that really cool window doesn't show as a window inside the house. It's just a weird frame on the wall. It's kind of annoying, honestly. You think that it would be a carved out window. You know what I mean? like some of the bay seating, the bay windows that we have, but that just shows as a weird frame on the wall. Let me know, like, is my game broken? Is that not like, I don't know. But anyways, we're using the Bella Goth kit. And while I don't use the fun secret door bookcase, the bookcase door bookcase, the secret bookcase door, we use her really cool bookcases and line this office space. I love how this space turned out. I mean, give me built-in bookshelves. Oh, like you got my number, okay? And pairing the Bella Goth kit with Life and Death, it just made perfect sense. I end up using the Bistro kit wallpaper because I think it's just so beautiful. Change the swatches on all the bookshelves to black. The red was a little much. Very beautiful. Loved it. But for me, the black just felt really good. And then I took these curtains and kind of created this really cool space around her fireplace that I just thought was fun. I loved creating this space, and it ended up showcasing like diplomas and certifications, and I just thought that was cool. You're so proud of all the things you've done to get to where you are in life, and you've got it all posted right there with drapes wrapped around it above the fireplace in your giant fancy office. I love this room. It feels complex at some points, but it's also very basic. It's just a little office. You know what I mean? The bookcases really make this what it is. And then they all have little cubby spaces at the top with a light. So I get to go in and add plants and little statues and really just decorate this place for my Bella Goth my fake Bella Goth. I don't know what kind of business she's in, but she's in it. For the bedroom, after grabbing the bed, I really wanted to make sure I could find the perfect curtain to mask this wooden frame that's going to be on this wall. I wasn't going to give in to having this window right there, this really cool boxed window. It just was so nice. You know what I mean? I wanted it there, and I wasn't going to budge on that, so I had to make it work. And the way to do that is with curtains lining the wall. End up using this black curtain from Get Famous. And while you see a little bit of the framework from the window, it's very minimal. And honestly, that's the most I could ask for. Just for it to be minimal, because I didn't want to give up the window, so I was going to have to deal with it. I wanted this bedroom to be an escape. Like, you're done in the office, you're done with your day. You would just be able to come up here and relax. I put a little seating area in here so you can sit and grab a book from your office and come and read, or take a bath in the beautiful bathroom that we build and then come in here and just relax until you're ready to go to bed. Come sit at your vanity and take your makeup off, or, you know, practice your charisma. You couldn't have told me that this would have been my favorite, but I loved doing it. In my head, I don't feel this fancy. I hope that we can all be very clear on this. That was like growing up. I didn't go by my full name because I felt like my name was too old school. And so everyone called me Kat, you know? And I'm like thinking that I'm just like this really like cutesy decor, and I am. But like this is like a chokehold on me. It's just so beautiful and very like almost romantic, if I dare say. The reds and the black with the gold. It's very like getaway, like a getaway, not get away, but like a getaway. I wanted this room to feel first and foremost like her space. She's got her jewelry laid out. She has this big vanity where her makeup sits. She's got this giant mirror. This sitting space. I wanted it to feel very her. Now, for the bathroom, I definitely wanted to use this gorgeous bathtub that came with Life and Death and use the corresponding shower and bring this cohesion to the bathroom that just fits right into the rest of this floor. I just love the way that everything turns out. And I know I said it, and I'll say it again. I just think it's so pretty. We use a little hanging plant from Love Struck. It has this very golden, brassy wood tone to it, and it just fits perfectly. All right, hear me out on this. I decided I wanted a little like bench on the other side of the bathtub, just something that you would put some candles on, maybe a book, just to add a little more interest, right? So I built up this nice platform. I just took a wall, built it, raised up the platform, and then just started adding in all these fun candles. And while I thought that this was really pretty, the size was off, okay? What is that word? Like the size when you're like making a model of something and it's like the format is off almost. There's a word for it. It's swimming around in my brain and not making it to my tongue. The size, the format. It'll come to me later. I wasn't liking that. It was too big. It didn't work right. That word that I'm thinking of, I'm going to flash it across the screen. So what I decided to do was to get rid of that platform, okay, and get a little accent table. And the one I end up getting is from Dine Out. It's this really pretty marble slab little accent table. And it's so perfect. It looks built in. And you can kind of add some candles. I definitely do some alt placing, add a bunch of one and kind of I'll place all these candles so that they work the way that I want them to. But once I've got all those like candles and lights added, I can kind of alt place all the rest that I want on here. And then we delete the extra. And I just thought that was so pretty. I really like the way that it came together. Now, for this landing space, I wanted to add a piano because what screams rich, regal like a piano and maybe a few guitars, right? I love this My Wedding Stories one. It's so pretty. Like the intricacy of it, I can't with it, okay? And it just fit this vibe so perfect. But it left me with this awkward little space over here. This little walkway. I didn't necessarily need it to be usable, functioning. So I decided to just take some bigger plants and kind of line this little walkway with it just for some added greenery, some added clutter. I think it works. For the wallpaper, we go life and death, of course. What else? It really worked. The intricacy of the wallpaper helped to kind of add a little extra interest to the landing without having to go overboard with clutter. And the Modern Luxe curtains match the bronzy brown color of that piano so well. I'm telling you, the third floor, my favorite. But getting down into the second floor, which I love, don't get me wrong, the third floor is like my fave. But this down here, I wanted it to be so fun. You know, as a parent, you can have your own style, have your own thoughts and likes and dislikes. And while you can definitely, you know, have your house a certain way, dress a certain way, at a certain point, your kids pull away from that. And they're allowed to. They're allowed to have their own likes and dislikes. My thought was that this teen is good with holding up a certain appearance. Maybe she does dress a little gothic and on the darker side. But this floor, this second floor, is her getaway. It's her retreat to be who she wants to be and to decorate her area the way she wants to decorate her area. So while her parents may have this very specific style, she is allowed the freedom to live the way she wants, decorate the way she wants, to have this space that is hers. I love that. I create this really fun open office area for her, and I go ahead and use Little Simsy's kit. We are talking very comfy, cozy, colorful, sweet vibes, okay? Pastels, and everything in Little Simsy's kit fits that vibe. We are kind of sticking to the first neutral swatch right now. We are going to go back in and change the swatches out. I just wasn't sure what color scheme we were going to go for. I needed to kind of get everything out there and then decide. I did think about going a little darker up here and kind of keeping it grayscale and a little more in the family, if you will, but it just didn't feel right. And so that's when I decided to just go with my heart, go with what I was feeling, and we're going to use and utilize the pastel pop kit. So fun and so colorful, very girly. And I loved this purple swatch. It has these little green dots in it that let me use the green Parenthood wallpaper with the like wooden paneling at the bottom. I think that it fits really well, but she gets this little bit of crazy fun wall art almost. So I am just putting these Dream Home Decorator boxes on these shelves. I am alt placing them, lifting them up a little bit with 9 so that they fit on this shelf because they don't automatically click to it. Click, switch, swatch. I've done this before. Spot to it. No, they don't automatically click. Snap. Oh my gosh. They don't automatically snap to it. You know, sometimes you got to give a girl some grace. The words don't always free flow. Okay. Sometimes we got to get there. We get there. But I just think this area was so fun, so colorful, and really sets the stage for the bedroom and who this teen is. For the hallway, we use these tiny living cupcake pictures. There's 3 different swatches. And I think they're really fun, girly, they're pastel, they fit the vibe, okay? We're back at the bedroom, which I'm struggling in here a little bit. I really wanted to make this fireplace work for me. It's from the Cozy Kitsch kit, and I just think it's adorable. I love a good checkerboard. I almost bought myself some checkerboard glasses because how fun is that? But then it was like, do I want like orange checkered, black and white? Like it's a deal. Plus, I usually keep my hair on the orange side because I love a good copper. I have been copper for like 10 years, give or take random things like having the split blonde or having an ombre with blonde or even just being all over ginger, okay? But I am actually changing my hair up drastically. If you don't know anything about me, know that I used to be a hairdresser and I used to change my hair all the time. I have had pretty much every color under the sun, from yellow to blue to red. I've had green before. I've had black hair, blonde hair, red hair, a lot, okay? And I got into this, like, I don't want to call it a rut because I love having ginger, orange, auburn hair, red tones, orange tones, because it just suits me really well. But I've been really struggling with my hair and loving it, like struggling with loving it. So we're gonna change up my hair. I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm doing a semi-permanent color, so that means that it is not permanent. It will wash out and it'll be easy to get out if I decide, oh my gosh, what have I done to myself? But if you're watching, stay tuned because it's going to be fun. I'm really excited. I'm just really over this color right now. And so it'll be a great departure. And it's a hair dream of mine. It's something I've always wanted to do and I've just never done. So stay tuned. All right. It wasn't working with that fireplace. As you see, I got rid of it and I got the Decor to the Max fireplace. It's got that really great periwinkle swatch, which was beautiful. It's got the gold in it. It matches this room so well. And I ended up getting to use the Kitsch Kit's little bookcase here. It's this thin, like built-in bar looking area almost. It's so cool. I like it a lot. I've used it in a couple different builds. I love how the extra pieces can snap onto it, so you can make it extra long or you can make it this short little piece, whatever your heart desires. And then of course the girl's got to have a frame TV in here because it matches and it's pretty. And you know, TV, why not? All that big talk about how I loved the third story. I really love this floor too, actually. I forgot how pretty it was, if I'm honest. Like the pattern clashes, but the colors all match really well. Yes, yeah, I was super happy with this floor. This bedroom's really pretty and I like it a lot. All right, now for the bathroom up here. I don't want to call it basic, just a little bit. It's a little basic, just a little bit. We're using growing together bathtub shower combo as well as the sink just to get that gold hardware in here. But we also get to use that really pretty blue tone that it comes in. I like this bathroom. It's great for this sim. A little basic, but not bad. Not bad at all. We use high school years tile in here on the walls. And then the floors are just a base game pink tile. I think it's so pretty, very pastel, very cute. I mean, that's the inside of the house done. It's kind of crazy because I don't always do the entire outside and then go inside. So I'm typically, when I'm done inside the house, I have to come outside and do landscaping. It was very bare minimum what I had to do on the outside of the house. Just kind of adding things around the patio, some table and chairs, a little bench to sit on. Of course, we got to get in a chess table. Just kind of adding a little last minute stuff, a little extra chairs, some rugs, just really bringing the fun and girly. And I wouldn't be me if I didn't add a little artist area. So we use the artist studio kit and just add a few things out here so that it appears like your sim is a little bit of an artist. Gives them an extra skill building item and just kind of makes it fun. It's a really nice view of Ravenwood up here. It's the crow's perch, right? So you're perched up high overlooking everything. So why wouldn't you have a little spot where you could go paint and enjoy the scenery, enjoy where you live? Adding a little bit of outdoor lighting because the bottom floor has this giant porch. I add some ceiling lights around and then just really going in with some get-together sconces and lighting up the outside of this house. It feels a little overkill to me, but it's a big house. It would make sense that you have lots of lighting. Painting all the ceilings in this place with this great dark wooden color because it needed to be done. Now we're just doing some terrain paint and this house is done. I think it's time we jump into the screenshots and take a look at this place in all its glory. I love this home. I can't even begin to tell you how much fun I had doing this build, taking this really cool AI generated, digitally edited photo that just makes me very nostalgic, makes me think of Skyrim and how many years I played that game. And it brings back so many good thoughts. And I couldn't not create this house. And then just to get to decide who this person is who lives here, this family, what they're like. You could have gone a million different ways inside this house. It could be anything. And this is what I chose it to be. And I think it's so pretty and it's so fun. And I absolutely loved putting all the detail into this build. So I hope you like it too. It is play tested on the gallery, ready for you and your sim and whatever you want to do with this house. If you like this video, comment, subscribe. What's your favorite part in this house? I'd love to know. If you want this build for yourself, it's on the gallery, play tested. My EA ID is the same as my name here on YouTube. It's katxthrash. And then last but not least, I just want you to know that I appreciate you. You have gotten to the end of this long video and you're still here. And I really appreciate you. I have so much fun building in The Sims, and it means a lot to me that people like you like what I'm doing too, because isn't that what it's all about? Being some sort of artist, right? Knowing that you get to put what you love out into the world and that some people really enjoy it, and that's just a really cool thing. And it's something so silly as The Sims, but you get it, right? I know you do. I hope you have a great night wherever you are. Bye, y'all.